Hello, and thank you for 500 subscribers. Okay, so for this video, I wanted to do something a little bit different. This is the second time that I've made a video specifically to celebrate a milestone that I've hit. And last time I did something a bit different where I kind of talked about like the direction of my channel, where I wanted that to go. I would say most everything in that video is still true, although I'm trying to give reading vlogs another shot, so look out for that video soon. But once again, I wanted to do something that was a bit different. It wasn't specific to any book or tag or anything like that, but is instead a little bit more of a background behind the scenes. So I wanted to do a bookshelf tour. My bookshelf is like really small, and so I feel like a regular video about this, I know that like other booktubers make videos about this all the time, but I don't know, it felt like my bookshelf is so small that maybe I should make it a part of something else, so now it's a part of my 500 celebration video. In addition to that, I thought that it would be fun to talk through a couple other things like how I keep my TBR, where my channel name comes from, and I guess that was it. Oh, and a few of the knickknacks on my shelf. I don't know if that's like traditional in bookshelf videos, but we're gonna talk about it today, so strap in, because it's gonna be a fun one. I don't know. The Booker Prize was announced today, and so I'm still a little bit flustered. I don't know, like I just feel loopy and I feel like I can't speak. So let's start with my channel name. Why I've chosen Freshly Read Books as the channel name. Some of you may already know this, but I've never actually said on my channel, but Freshly is actually my last name, which is why it's supposed to have like a double meaning, like freshly read as in you just read it, and also freshly read as in me, I'm Freshly, and I just read it. It is not spelled the same way as like the word freshly that I use in my channel name. If I use the real spelling of it, you would never find this channel. But it is traditionally a German last name that comes from the word frog. So there you go. And actually that brings me to one of the things on my bookshelf, which is this little frog, which my dad got me when he was in Germany, and which is perfect. It's a German frog, Freshly. It's not also pronounced Freshly, I should say that. It is not pronounced Freshly. I am not going to make an attempt to pronounce it because it looks pretty pathetic that I can't correctly pronounce my last name, but it's one of those German words it's really hard, especially for an English speaker, to say. So let's not point out my flaws when it comes to things that are integral to me. But the fun thing about this is that it ribbits. Is this the content you came here for? Because it's the content you're getting. Anyways, so we're gonna go ahead and look through the bookshelf, and then we'll talk about my TBR, which is actually like the lower part of this bookshelf. Okay, hi, I'm still here. This is my Harry Potter section, which is basically just the Harry Potter books. This is an IKEA plant, so that's fun. These are my D&D dice. So if you don't know, I play Dungeons and Dragons because I am that nerd. Also, my DM, that's Dungeon Master, she is amazing and sent me this for my birthday, which has Ranger, which is my class for my character, and then the name, which is Eliwick. That's the name of my, like, character. I'm trying to stand on my toes and it's like a serious calf workout. But we have so much fun playing, and actually with my Dungeon Master and another person that plays D&D with us, we have a podcast together called Best Fictional Friends, so you should definitely check that out if you haven't already. And the only other like knick-knack on this shelf is from Chile. So, but yeah, this is Valparaiso, which was one of my favorite places that we visited. There's like a little funicular in it. Okay, that's that shelf. Okay, back on my toes. This is kind of Immortals and Jeff Vandermeer shelf, it's become. I love both of these authors for very different reasons. They're very different authors, but they share the same shelf. So A Gentleman in Moscow, and then we have Rules of Civility. And then I have my collection of Jeff Vandermeer here, which is the Annihilation series, the Southern Reach series, and then also the Bourne series, both of which I've talked about on this channel before. And then I have like one of those old pencil sharpeners. That was my grandpa's actually. And then I've got this little lamb. This is, I got this in Germany for like €1. and I think it's adorable. Okay, let's take this down. Okay, so this shelf is less coherent. There's not really like a specific author or anything that's here. It's kind of just like organized by size, I guess. I typically try to keep only the books that I really love, or sometimes it's just like because I know I'm going to be making a video about them at some point. So of course I have my Girl in White Cotton and Burnt Sugar. That's the same book that was on the Booker shortlist. I have a full video about it. Check it out if you haven't already. Then I have Neil Gaiman here for Neverwhere and Good Omens. I really like both of those. I've read a few other Neil Gaiman novels. Those are just the ones that have stuck to the shelf so far. And then we've got like Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I've talked about this one before. Before the Coffee Gets Cold, Real Life I loved. Life of Pi, one of my favorite books of all time. Okay, now we're gonna take you over to this side. So now we have another shelf that's got more of a theme. This is my Kurt Vonnegut shelf. Just like sits over my shoulder in the back of videos that I film in front of this bookshelf, which I think is hilarious. Hi, my name is Sarah and welcome back to Freshly Read Books. But we've got Kurt Vonnegut here and then all of the books that I've read by him, including this like graphic novel, which is a graphic novel version of Slaughterhouse-Five. But if you want my very quick opinion on Kurt Vonnegut and like what you should read based on how much I've read by him so far, I would definitely recommend Slaughterhouse-Five, obviously. Breakfast of Champions, I really, really love. You can't even see the title on this one. This one's an old edition. And then also, if you like short story collections, Welcome to the Monkey House is really good. I have the special edition here. I don't know what the difference between the special edition and like whatever the regular edition would be, but I really like this one. This book here is just a collection of letters that Kurt Vonnegut wrote through his life, which was collected by a friend of his that's also an author, Dan Wakefield, who I actually got to meet in person. Very exciting. So this is the last shelf of books I have that I have already read. Let me maybe point you more towards me. There we go. So just a couple more books that I really like. Again, not really cohesion here. Then I have Nadia's War, which is the first ARC that I was ever sent. This was actually sent to me because of my in-person book club, which I created over Meetup originally like 3 years ago. And back then authors used to reach out to me and ask if, or not authors, but publishers used to reach out to me and ask if our book club would read their book. And for this one, they actually sent me an ARC of the book so that I could read it and decide if the book club should read it. So I don't know, yeah, I have like a lot of good memories associated with Nadia's War. It's not necessarily that it's like the most amazing book, although it is very good. It's about a young Russian pilot that's a part of an all-female fighter regiment. I really enjoyed that book, especially for it being like a local author with a small publisher, you know? Then we've got 1Q84 by Haruki Murakami. I really want to read more by Murakami, but I did really like 1Q84. The Martian by Andy Weir. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. This was a really fun book to read. I don't think I would typically keep it on my bookshelf, but Curtis would like to read it, so it's here for now. And then we've got, of course, Jurassic Park and the Lost World by Michael Crichton, who I love. And lastly, let's talk about the anal retentive way that I do my TBR. So my TBR consists of 3 shelves. So I made a goal for myself in like March or April of this year that I was no longer going to keep books that I'd had for more than a year that I hadn't yet read. So my TBR is kind of designed with that in mind. So it's by priority, I guess is the best way to put it. But mostly that just means what books have been on my shelf for the longest. It starts with the books that I still had, like when I made that decision, I had like 30 to 40, maybe even close to 50 books that I hadn't read on my shelf. And I was like, okay, like I need to finish these by this time next year. So I'm saying by the end of April 2021, I have to have these finished. I'm on track to do that. All I have left is like these books. That's just 9 books here, from this tall book to A Dance with Dragons, the last book that we currently have of the Game of Thrones series, if we ever get another one. But yeah, those are the books that have been on my shelf for the longest, so my goal is to have those finished by the end of April this year. After that, it goes by months. So I got these books in May of this year, so I have to finish them by May of next year. And I just like kind of organize it by height. I know that sounds crazy. You know what? I told myself if I explain this on camera, I'm gonna sound crazy. And now that I've done it, I agree with my earlier self. Anyways, this is my like highest priority TBR, and then it goes to like lower priority the further we get down, with these books down here being the newest books. The reason why this book is here, Dune by Frank Herbert, even though I bought it this month, is just because it's a book club book coming up in January, so I'm gonna need to read it before these books anyway. So that's what I mean when I say like by priority. Mostly it's by time, but if there's books that come that like need to be read before this, I do that. And then my TBR for the month is typically on that like those white drawers that are behind me in most of my review videos. I mean, lately it's been the Booker books, but typically those are the books that I'm working on that month. So even though I don't film a TBR video, that's like a secret for how you can figure out what I'm planning on reading that month. It doesn't always go that way, but I try. Just so that you can make sure that you see the full bookshelf. So this was the TBR. This is the stuff that's been on my TBR for the longest. And then we've got this is the entire Dark Tower series. That's gonna kill me when June comes, because that's when I bought the entire series. So good luck, Sarah. And then those are the newest books. So yeah, that is my entire bookshelf, my TBR. Once again, thank you so much for 500 subscribers. It's so cool. I don't know. The internet's cool. It's a cool place. You can make friends and it's fun. This has been a paid for advertisement for the internet. So yeah, that's this video. I'll see you for the regularly scheduled content later. Scheduled is actually a bit of a stretch. Maybe I shouldn't use that word. Just the normal content that I make. But anyways, I hope that you did enjoy this video. And if you did, consider subscribing. This would have been a weird first video to watch. Or maybe you've been watching my videos for a bit and you're just unsure, you're on the edge. And like, maybe you want to subscribe. I don't know. My brain is mush from Booker, from the Booker Award being announced. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing, and then I'll see you in the next one. Bye.